Hey guys, Rhett here. What is going on? I have something really cool for you today. Something that I have been talking to a lot of my clients about doing, but I've personally been weighing whether I should or should not do it. I decided I'm going to do it. And what I am doing today is I'm at a development that I'm doing here in Nashville. If you guys have ever been to Nashville, it's one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. We are about 5 miles off of Broadway, which is what Nashville has become famous for, where there are about 50 bars in a 600-yard radius, which is really cool. So if you haven't been to Nashville, guys, come on down. I wanted to show this. So I'm at a development site right now that I'm developing here. It's 35 townhome units in Nashville. Now, I wanted to show this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I always want to be transparent in things that I'm doing, and that's number one. Number two, I want to show you that real estate is super dynamic. It's very intricate in the ways that you can invest in real estate. I know we talk a lot about Section 8 on the channel, but I always want to show you guys what else I'm doing. And I think it relates exactly to Section 8. Because if it wasn't for Section 8 being such a staple in my portfolio and such a flow of guaranteed income, I wouldn't be able to take risks and do big projects like this, okay? So I'm gonna run through all the numbers in this so you guys can see it. I'm gonna run through how this big developments work. But I also, another reason I wanted to show it is, on social media, a lot of people who do investing and have channels, they show you all the cool stuff that they buy with the money that they make from their portfolios. I want to show you the cool things you can invest in with the money that you make from your Section 8 portfolio. And that's really important because buying stuff with the money you bring in from real estate, it's fine. But you get to a point where you say, okay, I have all this capital. If I buy this, is that a good use of capital? And it's okay to say no when you treat yourself and you buy cool stuff. But eventually, the answer has to be, yes, this is a good use of capital. So having a portfolio of rental properties that produces passive income, it allows you to take more risk. It allows you to get into huge projects like this and diversify into riskier options. And with Section 8, as we know, guaranteed money from the government, our risk is extremely low, which then allows me to take higher risk in other ventures like this. So guys, 35 townhome units here. The premise on this is a build to rent, okay? I'm gonna run through all the numbers on it. I'm gonna run through hypotheticals in renting them, hypotheticals in selling them. I'm gonna attach some drone footage to this video as well so you can see overviews and see what this project has become in a very short amount of time. We are in a very highly sought after area in Nashville, very close to the city, very close to like I said, Broadway for tourism. Now, all the numbers, as you guys know, I do all my videos in one shot. There's a lot of numbers. Projects like this are very complex. So if I screw the numbers up, I'll have them superimposed on the video with their corrections. But so I bought the land. 1.4 million was the cost of the land. Okay, all of the site work. So everything that you're seeing right now, site work includes rock removal, bringing the piece of land down to grade. Grade is the level that the land has to be at to be constructed on, okay? Site work. Running of sewer, running of water, running of electrical, all of that stuff. Prepping the entire piece of land to go vertical, as it's called, which means start building your units upward. So right now we're in the horizontal phase. Site work is horizontal work. Of course, makes sense, right? Horizontal, vertical. The all-in cost for the site work is $1.1 million, okay? So we're into it. We buy the land for 1.4, 1.1 for the site work. To do all of the construction, to go vertical on all 35 units, we're at 5.4 million to do that, okay? So 35 units, every unit averages between 1,200 and 1,500 square feet, combination of 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms right here. Okay, these are not going to be Section 8 rentals. These are going to be more luxury rentals, okay, but still not super luxury. We're going to go for more of a working class, right? And they're all going to rent for about $2,500 a month. So, and we'll get back to that. So we're at 5.4 to go vertical on this project. You have a builder's fee of 1.2 million, and that includes, so all the work that the builder's doing, right? He's not doing it for free. So 1.2 million there. We're at about 700,000 for the developer fee. So the developer who does all the work on this, does everything that it needs to take, all the permitting, all the meetings, all the zoning, all the hearings. That's the developer. He runs everything. So he deals with the builder. He tells the builder, hey, we have this much money to do this. You need to start this phase now. He talks to the city to make sure we have all our inspections lined up. He deals with the architecture, the engineering, everything that needs to be done there as well, okay? And that is really important. So he's at about 700,000 for the developer fee. Then you have all the architecture fees, you have engineering fees, and those are almost 600,000 in themselves. So that is the engineers that have been coming out here for years, checking on, making sure that all of the groundwater is going to the right place. We have all the architecture firms that take exactly what we have in mind and put that into a building plan to then give to the builders so they have something to actually build off of, okay? And then you have all your other costs. So you have costs related to interest. You have contingency costs. You have contingency costs that are built in. So there are a lot of costs that go into this to make it doable, right? And to make it a operational project. So all in, guys, the all-in cost to this is 10.3 million to get this thing up and running. $10,300,000 to have a finished product. Now, we're looking at, we have 35 units. We're going to rent them all for roughly $2,500 per unit. You're looking at about $87,500 in gross cash flow per month. You multiply that by 12, you're at about $1,050,000 in gross operating revenue for the year, just on this portfolio right here, just the 35 units right here. If you're gonna sell them, now keep in mind, we're still somewhere between 20 and 30 months away from having this project be completely finished. We are estimating that we can get somewhere between 490 and 510,000 per townhouse. We'll say 500,000 average. You sell 35 townhomes for 500,000 a piece. You're looking at about 17,500,000 in gross profit. We're into it for 10.3 million. There you go. There is your 7.2 million in net profit there. Now, of course, from that 7.2, you have realtor fees, you have title fees, you have closing costs. We're looking to be somewhere around, after all is said and done, about 6.5 million in the next 30 months. And that is if we sell. If we don't sell, the way that you make money on big projects like this, guys, say we finish the project, costs us 10.3 million, okay? We go to the bank, and the same thing I talk about on the channel all the time with the Burr method, you do the same thing, just on a large scale. So you're into this for 10.3 million, the bank comes down, they run an appraisal, they say, okay, they're all worth, every townhome here is worth about 500,000 on average, right? You have some worth less, some worth more. And they go, okay, we'll give you 80% LTV or loan to value, and we're able to pull out 13 or 14 million, right? You got to keep 20 or 25% in, just like we talk about with normal burrs. So we take that 14 million out. That's 4 million in profit. We don't pay taxes on that, which is very, very, very important because it's not a taxable event. It's not a sale. It's just a cash out refinance. So now we have 4 million in profit that we've taken, that we've refied out of the project. We still have a couple million in equity in the project that the bank is making us keep in the project. At that point, our debt service is going to be covered by the $1 million a year in cash flow at $2,500 a month per 35 units. So that's how the numbers work. Okay, I know that's a mouthful, and let's keep walking, but these projects are very dynamic. There's a ton of numbers, and the due diligence on these projects takes months and months and months. So once you finally have your builder, you have your developer, you have your team in place, it's no different than everything else we talk about on the channel, guys, where when we build our Section 8 portfolios, we need our good realtors, we need our lenders, we need our insurance companies. we need our contractors. It's the same thing when you do developments, only the numbers have a lot more zeros. So these projects, when you get with a developer, you get with a builder that you really like, you just continue to do these. And this is a very interesting time because a lot of people aren't building right now. The reason they're not building right now is because the construction loan money is very, very expensive. You guys know it when we talk about what the rates look like. You're talking 7-8% on residential mortgage rates. Commercial rates are a lot higher than that. They're between 8 and 9%. So not a lot of people can afford to do big builds like this that cost over $10 million. And while it's being built, you're paying 8.5% interest on all the money that you pull, right? So doing these projects, you need to have a lot of cash flow. They're very high risk because you have to wear all of that interest. You have to wear these costs over the next 30 months. You don't know what's happening over those 30 months. You don't know what could happen, right? And the reason that I'm able to do it is because in my portfolio, I'm okay. I'm good. I have properties that I know are going to cash flow. I know I'm going to get paid every single month. So I can take risks. I can take bigger risks. When we talk about, Rhett, you know, what's the next step? I have clients who have 15, 20, 30, 40 properties who say to me, Rhett, you know, how do we get to 100? Well, we get to 100 because eventually after buying our single families, we start buying multi, we start buying portfolios. We go from 50 to 70 to 100 units fairly quickly, acquiring portfolios. And then they say, well, then what, Rhett? What's the next step? Well, this is the next step. This is what's next. This is how you build real wealth. It's projects like these that when you sell them, you don't make 100, you don't make 200, you make 5 million, you make 6 million. These are the projects that you build your Section 8 portfolio, you build your rental portfolio for, to get into projects like this. And I want people to know that when you are bringing on a coach and you are trying to build your Section 8 portfolio, it is so unbelievably important that you have somebody in your corner that not only understands building small single family portfolios or small multifamily portfolios, adding 1 property, 2 properties, 3 properties, but also you have somebody in your corner that understands how to do massive projects. And I have clients that say, Rhett, I want to get into development. How do you do it? Well, here's how you do it. I've been doing it for a long time, and this is what you need to do. So you need somebody in your corner that's well-rounded. You need somebody in your corner that shows you more than the cool stuff that they buy. Toys. This is what builds wealth over a long period of time. It starts with your Section 8 portfolio. It starts with your rental portfolio. It turns into this. Now, you can't just do something like this right off the bat. You know, you have 100,000, you have 200,000. That's not really how this stuff works. It's significant risk, but it's calculated. And that's why at the beginning of the video I talked about, okay, we could sell it, right? We make our 7 million, our 6 million like we discussed, or we hold it. And the benefits to holding it are amazing too, because for example, it's the same with your Section 8 portfolios or your rental portfolios. You have to find ways on your exit to make sure you're safe. So a lot of times on the channel we talk about, and this is a conversation I have with clients all the time, is, okay, Rhett, if I buy a property right now and then I want to sell it, but in 2 years from now or 12 months from now, the real estate market crashes, what am I going to do? What can I possibly do? You hold it because you're still making a great return. It's the same thing here. If 2 years from now we go to sell it and for some crazy reason, interest rates are higher and we can't sell it and the rates and the costs and value of land plummets, which I don't see happening at all because nobody's building new construction right now. So 2 years from now, there aren't going to be a lot of available units. People that have property, like a lot of you guys at home that locked in rates during COVID or right after COVID at 2, 3, 4%, it'd be unwise for you to sell because now all of a sudden you're having to buy something that is so expensive, right? So a lot of people there's not a lot of new inventory for homes. Section 8, also the demand for Section 8 is extremely high. As inflation continues to grow, more and more people are getting pushed down into that poverty level where they need subsidized housing. So Section 8, that demand is going to continue to rise. But say, for example, something happens where we can't sell these units in 2 years. We can fall back on renting them for $2,500 a piece, grossing over $1 million a year in annual revenue from this project alone, and then we can just sit on it. So you have to understand that it's not always just a sell or just a rent. You have to have multiple avenues to go down in case things don't go the way that you want them to go. And especially with Section 8, that's why I love it so much. And that's why I love projects like this, where we can stay in them and hold them if we need to. And as we hold them, appreciation is just going to continue to go up, right? So why I love Section 8, we have guaranteed money. We don't have to worry about anything. The noise around us doesn't matter. If rates go higher, if rates fall, if property value goes up, if property values go down, we lock in our return with Section 8. Same thing here, a little bit different though. We can put people in these units. We can gross over $1 million a year. And if we want to sell, if the market works better for a sale, we sell. If it doesn't, we hold. We still make a lot of money. So eventually, you can make money as long as you don't sell when you're down. And that goes for everything, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate. You're never going to lose by holding. And that's why so many of my clients have been so successful with their Section 8 portfolios, because they're holding, they don't sell. We decide when we want to exit. We decide when it's our time to sell. And in the meantime, our cash flows continue to increase, because just like this project right here, we'll do cash out refis when rates go down. Just like we could hold this project for 20 years. We're going to do a cash out refi every 3-4 years as interest rates fall and the value of these 35 units goes up. So every couple of years we pull out a couple of million tax-free. Same thing with your Section 8 portfolio. We have 10, 20 units, even less, 5 units. You might have gotten them at 6%. I have tons of clients who have locked in rates in the last 12 months where they already have 5-unit, 10-unit portfolios. They're cash flowing a great amount of money, but at 6.5%, 6%. So a couple years from now, we are going to refi those into something that's significantly less, right? 4% once the rates go down, which they will go down. We refi, so naturally we're able to pull cash out. All that money is going to be tax-free because it's not a taxable event. It's a cash out refinance, right? We're taking leverage against that. And yearly, with Section 8, our rents are going to go up. We'll file for rental increases. It's the same thing here. So we'll start at $2,500 per unit, which is unbelievably cheap for Nashville, right? If you guys know what these markets are like, some of these super growing markets, rent is getting more and more unaffordable. So we start at $2,500. It gives us a lot of room to grow, and it gives people who are in the workforce the ability to get into homes and get into really nice new build construction close to Nashville, which is unheard of in this area, right? There are 2 houses actually on the other side of these excavators that just sold 6 months ago for $475,000. So we're being very conservative in saying that almost 3 years from now, the 35 units here are only going to be worth $500,000. But we have options, and it's the same thing that you guys have with your Section 8 portfolios and with your rentals. So I wanted to show you this for a couple reasons. I hope I was able to really get into those reasons. And like I said, if any of my numbers were wrong, I'll recorrect them and put them in to the video. But guys, please, this stuff is super detailed. It's very easy. You guys think it's easy to get taken advantage of doing a single family. When you start adding zeros, you don't know where the money's going. So these are so detailed and so unbelievably, it's so important to understand. Funny, people driving by. It's so important to understand where your money's going. And it gets harder to do that as the numbers get bigger and bigger and more people get involved. So please, leave your questions and comments, guys. I know I threw a ton of stuff at you. I hope I didn't overwhelm some of you, but I wanted to show you why it's important to be a multifaceted investor, what else I do with my money that Section 8 creates outside of buying stupid stuff. I wanted you to see where this money can go to increase the snowball of wealth, that we create from our Section 8 portfolios, and where safe places are to put your money, how these developments work, how the numbers work, and just kind of put that in front of you guys. So please leave your questions, comments below. I'll get to all of them. If you guys are interested in doing stuff like this, if you are in the middle of something like this and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm in over my head, let me know. If you guys want to start your Section 8 portfolios so you can get up to this and start building stuff like this, please send me an email in the description below. We'll get you started. We'll start with one single family, just like I did. Everybody starts somewhere. You start with one, you end up doing $10 million projects in Nashville. If you guys like this video, I have a lot more developments going on. I can do more. I'll keep you in the loop with this one. If you guys like this, please let me know. If you're like, I don't care about it, tell me, please. And I won't do these anymore. I'll stick to Section 8. But if you guys want to see more stuff like this, just drop it in the comments below. It'll give me some good feedback too. And we'll go from there. See you next time. So guys, these are the units that I was just talking about that were behind me that sold for just about $500,000 6 months ago. Brand new units. It's 2 units right here, 2 units right here, new development. So for those houses, those are great, unbelievably great comps for us. So when we finish building these 35 units, we'll have an understanding of, look, 30 months ago, so we're talking 30 months in the future when these are built, we can say, hey, 30 months ago, these were sold for $475,000 to $500,000. That's great for us because we understand that the way that markets appreciate, that 35 like units, very similar to these, are going to be worth a lot more 30 months down the line than these were 30 months before. So we believe that that 500,000 number is very conservative, okay? So if we can understand that we can sell these and gross about 17.5 million on ultra conservative numbers, we know that we can most likely make a lot more than that. But it's always important, you guys know all the time, especially my clients, the numbers that we always run on our investments, on our properties, on our cash flow models are always very conservative. It's always very, very smart to think, okay, if I run my numbers conservatively and I can still make money and I know they're conservative, then in a worst case scenario, I'm still making money. And then in a better case scenario, I'm making way more money. So it's always smart to run your numbers conservatively. And that's why having these units that were just built behind me, that were fresh, it gives us a lot more confidence in the project to move forward with the build.